This is a mobile power bank that has built-in magnetic charging as well as a built-in cable and a USB-C port. It says it's a 10,000 milliamp hour power bank. Model number is D28. Now on the back here it says the battery capacity is 10 amp hours or 38.5 watt hours, and it then says rated capacity 5.8 amp hours, 5 volts at 2 amps. So it has a USB-C input which can charge at 5, 9 or 12 volts, and a USB-C output, which apparently it's the USB-C port is input or output, and it can basically do 5, 9 or 12 volts. And then there's the cable output, which can also do 5, 9 and 12 volts. It also has the wireless magnetic charging that can do 5, 7.5, 10 and 15 watts. So I was sent this to review for free. If you wanted to purchase it, it would cost you about $40. They haven't paid me for my review, so my opinions remain my own. Now this particular model I have is the purple colored model, although they come in other colors as well. Now they include these little magnetic rings that you can stick onto your phone if your phone does not have a ring of steel that's compatible with kind of a Magsafe mounting system. And in the box we get 2 of those mounting rings. We have a USB-C to C charging cable, we have the power bank itself, and it has a sticker over the magnetic port here, and there is a lot of text on this sticker. And it says, hey, is there overheating of the power bank normal during charging? And it says, when the battery level of the charging device is low, it's perfectly normal for the power bank to generate some heat during charging because the output power is high. And then question, why is the charging slow? Wireless charging is slower than cable charging, so if you want to charge fast, please use a cable. Why is the magnetic absorption weak? And so basically they're saying the closer this thing is to your phone, the better it'll be attached. And if you have any cases between your phone and this thing, it may not attach very well. They also have some instructions here how to use the LED battery indicator. So firstly, press the on-off power button. So I believe this is the on-off power button. And I don't even, so there's the LED battery indicator. It goes all the way around it. Then the LED battery indicator will appear. Put your phone on the magnetic circle to charge. If you want to turn off the LED battery indicator when your phone is charging, a simple click on the on-off power button and the phone is still charging normally. So it has a round light here that lights up, and there is a manual which I'm probably going to have to read to interpret the colors on the light there. Okay, so according to the manual, when you're discharging this guy or charging your phone, the green light on the surround here means that it's between 66 and 100%. If you get a blue light, it's between 33 and 66. A red light means you're between 3 and 33%. And if the red light is flashing, you're really low. You're at 0 to 3%. And if the LED is off, your battery is at 0% and it's just not working. Now, when you're charging it, it's basically reversed of that. So if it's flashing red, blue, or green, you're going up in charge. And when the green light is solid, it's fully charged. So I don't know. I kind of prefer 4 little dots. It's a lot easier to remember than which light means halfway and which light means full. But it's kind of intuitive in that red is super low, blue is in the middle, and green is gooder. All right, so first test, just plugging in a phone. It is charging. It binged. Testing wireless charging. It detected the phone and it started charging it wirelessly. So I verified that it will negotiate up to the 9 volt level when charging my phone. And this is a quick charge device and it's negotiated to the 9 volt level on that device as well. Now I should point out this cable here is an output only cable. So if you plug that cable into a charger, it will not charge the power bank. So to charge this power bank, you must have a USB-C cable. They do include one, so you have to carry that cable with you. plug it into this in-out port. Now that port there is supposed to be able to do in and out. I haven't tested that yet, so let's give it a shot. All right, so this is using the white cable just going to the in-out port, and it's currently charging my phone at 5 volts. I've seen this cable negotiate up to 9 volts on my phone, so if we give that a little time, it might also negotiate up to 9 volts. Yeah, it took about a minute before this guy went up to 9 volts, but it has negotiated up to the 9 volt level. So it is negotiating something. It has gone up to the 12 volt level, and it is charging my laptop at 18 point some watts. Now it won't do that for super long because it only has like 30 watt hours entirely in here, but it can top up a laptop, or at least my particular laptop, if your laptop supports 12 volt charging. This guy has the USB-C input-output port. This here is a USB-C port, but it's not connected to anything. It's simply a cable storage way to link your cable in there. So you can kind of use this as a a strap or something. It's not super strong because you can just pull that out of there, but it's a place to stow the cable so you don't get dust in the connector. Kind of you could hang it off of something, for example, but that's just kind of a storage spot for that cable. Alright, so I have a 5 volt load over on this port here, and this port here has switched down to 5 volts. So it's able to power these two devices at the same time, but it looks like both of these ports need to be at the same voltage. So you can't charge one thing at 12 volts and another thing at 9 volts. It looks like it can negotiate down to use whatever the lowest devices capable of, but then all your devices are charging at that lower voltage. This guy here is at 9 volts. This is a 5 volt device. If I plug it in, it renegotiates power, and this guy here goes to 5 volts. This guy isn't even drawing any current yet. Now this guy is drawing an amp, and so I can crank this guy up, and this is still at 5 volts. It's going down a little bit, 2 amps. Alright, so this guy is providing 5 volts at 3 amps over here. Over here it's only drawing like 0.6 amps because my phone's mostly charged. So we have 15 watts over here, 3 watts over there. So yes, it can drive two devices at 5 volts with at least 3 amps across the two devices. Now it can do pass-through charging. So it's powering this guy at 3 amps, and it's also charging at 3 amps at 5 volts. So I think if you have an output at 5 volts, the input is limited to 5 volts as well. But you can see here, it's basically taking all the power from the input and it's passing it right out to the load. All right, I have discharged this guy pretty much completely. When I push the button, we get the 3 flashing red lights that mean it's like between 0 and 3%. So now I'm going to charge it back up with a meter to figure out how many watt hours it takes to charge it from empty to full, and that'll give us an upper bound on the battery capacity. I've reset my watt hour counter. It is currently at the 5 volt level, so I expect in a little bit of time here it's going to renegotiate that up to the 12 volt level and charge a little faster than 3 watts. It might be charge limiting right now because the battery was all the way down, and so it may want to limit the charge speed a little bit until the battery gets a little farther up. Okay, within a minute it's negotiated up to the 12 volt level. It's drawing 1.52 amps or 18 watts, so it looks like it's charging at about 18 watts. So for both charging and discharging, I don't think I've ever seen it give above 18 or 19 watts. I've never seen it hit the full 22.5 watts that its rating says it's supposed to be able to do. Alright, this guy's fully charged up, and to do that it took 42 watt hours. So that's pretty in line with having a 38.5 watt hour capacity battery. I'm using the built-in cable going into my computer's USB-C port, and it is charging it at the 12 volt level. It's drawing 19 watts right now. And that's limited by this power bank because my computer could draw more than that. This is what the solid blue line looks like when it's discharging. We have the solid red line indicating a lower battery now. So far it's delivered 22 watt hours. Okay, we've run this thing completely out and it's turned off. If I push the button, it'll give me the flashing red light. Alright, so with voltage conversion inefficiencies and so forth, it has delivered 29 watt hours out of the power bank, which is pretty good. That's, 75% or a little more, maybe 80% of the rated 38.5 watt hours capacity of the battery. Because this guy has a magnet on it, you can just kind of, stick it to a filing cabinet or a refrigerator and it'll stay put. This power bank did a pretty good job meeting its specifications. It has a 10 amp hour battery inside. It took 42 watt hours to charge it back up. It can deliver less than that, obviously due to inefficiencies in the circuitry and so forth, but it delivers a decent amount of that out. Magnetic wireless charging works great, and the magnet sticks to things very well, so your phone will stick to it directly. Obviously, the wired charging works faster. The box says 22.5 watts, but it says here 12 volts DC at 1.67, which is 20 watts. I've never seen more than about 19.5 watts, either coming out of it or going into it. But it's still a pretty capable, 19 to 20 watt charger. It'll go up to 12 volts USB-C power delivery. It takes a little time sometimes to negotiate that, so it might sit at 5 volts for a while, like 20-30 seconds, before it jumps up to the higher voltage level. If you have a device that charges at 5 or 9 or 12, that's fine. It'll charge at 5 for a while and it'll move up. If you plug this into a laptop, you may need to sit there for like 20 or 30 seconds before it starts charging if the laptop requires a 12 volt charging rate. Now, battery level is indicated by color as opposed to number of dots. So you have to remember that red is low, blue is medium, and green is high. But other than that, the battery indicator works pretty well. It goes all the way around it. If you don't like the light, you can push the button and it will turn off even when it's working. It has a built-in USB-C cable. My only complaint here is this is an out-only cable, so you cannot plug this into something to charge it. To charge it, you have to have something plug in here providing power. Now, they do provide a cable, so you can plug this into a USB-C outlet to charge it, but you do have to have a cable like this if you don't have a power adapter that comes with its own cable. Also, you can charge two different devices with these two cables at the same time, but only if they're using the same output voltage. So if you have two 5-volt devices, it's great. You can get 3 amps out between the two devices. If you have one device that wants 12 volts and one device that wants 5 volts, it's only providing 5 volts out of both ports. This guy here stows away. It makes a pretty decent carrying case. So it meets 99% of its specifications. It's a little bit slower than the 22.5, but it's perfectly reasonable for that. Works well with USB-C power delivery devices. So I think it's really just comes down to cost. If you're looking for a device like this, it functions perfectly fine, and so it's a matter of, is this cost the good deal for you based on what else you can buy in that same kind of form factor and performance. But there's no real problems with this device. Now, I like the fact that they give you these stick-on steel rings so you can attach this to devices that may not have magnets inside of it and then use it for charging that device.